I like the way I am. Though I've got a long way to go, I like the road that I'm on. Every day I'm learning more. Every day I'm learning more. I like the way I made. Not another one quite like me, no. After all is said and done, I'm happy with me. Happy with me. I like the way I am. Though I've got a long way to go, I like the road that I'm on. And every day I'm learning more.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm so excited. Thank you to everyone who tuned in last week. Where our guest was Lady Dion Daniels, and we talked about Girl Get Up, I Got You. And it was an amazing discussion. I hope that it met you right where you were and that you took the time to get to do something. Like when we ended the show, we said that we were going to take this week to pick someone else up. So I hope that you did just that. I've been getting testimonies of people who did that. But on tonight, we are in for another treat. I have my sister, my friend, author, entrepreneur, Lady Co-Pastor Shalanda Davis, and our discussion for tonight is going to be becoming the change I want to see. We're going to talk about how we're to become the change that we want to see. So tonight, Shalanda is going to join us, and we're just going to discuss. Please put your comments and questions in the box, and we're going to try and get to your comments and your questions and just discuss. So, hey sis, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Just bear with us. We're making sure that we can hear each other. We're working out the kinks. But like I said, last week we discussed Girl Get Up, and tonight we just wanted to discuss, what it means to become the change we want to see, what it means to truly start walking on this journey. Sis, are you there? Hello? So while we're working on that, like I said, we want the change we want to see. For some people, becoming change can be frightening. Changing can bring excitement for other people. And, one of the things I've learned in truly becoming the change that I wanted to see in the earth is that I had to do some things different. I had to work on myself. I had to look myself in the mirror and begin to have those hard conversations with myself in regards to, being better, looking at situations and just changing that, because we all can attest, we're all guilty of saying, oh, I would never do that, or oh, that could never be me. And we should never say never, because we don't know how we would end up, or what our life would have been. But truly, we thank God, amen, that he keeps us and that he continues to show us ourselves. And so, like I said, tonight in this discussion, we want to be open, we want to be transparent, we want to be as real as possible, no judgment, and we want to answer your questions. So, Lady Shalanda, can you hear me? Can you hear me? We're working on it. I'm sorry, guys. We'll be right in. Like I said, we're working on ourselves, and becoming, just truly becoming. And like I said, it had gotten to a point where I had to truly become the change that I wanted to see. I had to learn. I had to learn how to be that which I gave out. I had to learn how to become, that which I just did not like. The parts of me, the parts that I felt like I should come up in, and the parts that I felt like I know, I needed to just change. And changing can, like I said, be frightening. If we're honest, changing is very frightening. Sometimes, we don't want to hear or see what we need to change, and we need to truly become honest enough to say, I need to change. There's something inside of me that needs to change. There's something inside of me that is broken, that I don't like, and that I need to fix. And sometimes we get upset with our friends and our loved ones when they try to tell us the things they don't like about us, when they try to tell us the things that they see that we're doing that is just not okay. And we get upset. And like I said last week, sometimes we get upset because of the delivery of the message, if we're honest, because sometimes people, their delivery of the thing is like, that was harsh, and so we've got to learn how to allow people to tell us their truths and not get upset, because some truths we need to hear. But in all honesty, like I said, it depends on how the person is saying it. So, sis, are you here?
I'm here. I'm
All
here. I'm
right.
sorry, you guys. I had to change um devices. Sorry.
Oh,
So sorry. So
no
sorry.
problem. Thank you. So, my sister's here. She's here, and we're going to talk about becoming the change that we want to see. I was just opening up, and I was talking to the people about, sometimes it's hard to become that which we need to be when we've been stuck in a way for so long.
Right.
So, and I was saying that, this is an open, honest, transparent discussion. We want you guys to post your comments up, put your questions out there so we can try and answer them as best as we can. Share this video, share it. We want to get the word out. We want other women to be blessed. And you know what? We're going to be better together because we're going to make the choice and the decision to become. So, the topic, we're dropping our rocks. That was our hashtag, drop your rocks. It's time to become the change that we want to see. We throw rocks at the people and the things that we don't like, but we need to drop that. We need to truly tap into our inner selves and become. So, sis, what would you say in regards to dropping our rocks and really just being coming on the path to being better than what we see?
Okay, so first thing, I have wrote down some things that I just begin to think about. One thing was stop being attracted to or jealous of other people's investments. That's one of the things that we need to stop doing. In order for you to change, in order for you to become better, you have to start loving yourself. That's number one. You need to start loving yourself. You have to trust your own judgments. Stop relying on other people to validate who you are, and know your self-worth. If you want to change, you actually have to be that particular change. So just to give you an example, I've seen how my mom, because I've been married for 25 years. And so I seen how my mom and my dad were. And then I seen how my mother-in-law and my father-in-law were. And I said to myself, okay, I'm seeing what they're doing, but I want to be different. I want to change the dynamics of how marriage for me is going to be and how I am as a woman. I don't want to be that jealous wife. I don't want to be that controversial wife. I don't want to be that nagging wife. So I had to actually be that particular change that I wanted to see, So I'm not going to nag my husband because I'm seeing it. I'm not going to do X, Y, and Z because I'm seeing it. I had to make that change within myself first so that I can be an example to somebody else that wants to see a change.
Right. So, us as women, since we're discussing and we're talking about changing, because a lot of times, if we're honest, it's been said like, if another female hurt us, or does something to us. And you know, we're quick to throw a rock. We're quick to say, I can't believe she did that. Whatever it was. I can't believe she said that to me. I can't believe how she said it. But really not even understanding that to a degree we've done that or we do that. And if we could understand that everybody is in the process of becoming, and we have to allot our sisters the chance to evoke change in themselves. And so I feel like, you know, it as hard as it is to figure out where we need to begin. A lot of people say, you know, it begins with healing.
Right.
But before we get to the whole healing part of it, now that we're picking our sisters up and we're getting it together, how are we going to learn how to not judge each other in the places that we are in on our journey of becoming?
Right. Well, I think that knowing who you are, first getting to know who you are, you know, getting to know your downfalls, what you don't like about yourself, and changing yourself so that when you look at somebody else, when you look at another sister, you're not jealous of what they have, because you know your worth. You know, you believe in yourself, and I can aspire anything else that they have. You know, I can actually gain those things if I work hard for it myself. I don't have to be jealous of anybody. You know, I don't have to hate on my sister. I don't have to throw rocks at my sister. And we have, as women, have become so stuck in, and I said this quite a bit this week. We get stuck in the crab in the barrel mentality, where we keep pulling our sisters down. You know, that's what the crabs do. They don't want anybody else to get anywhere. They just want everybody to just stay in that same place and nobody go nowhere. But we should be a ladder, you know, a ladder where you are helping somebody to get up that ladder. You know, if you see that sister down, you help pull that sister up. There's enough for everybody, you know. And I think that if we really start loving ourselves first, then we can show that love to other people, you know.
Could it be possible that, you know, the reason why we have a hard time showing love is because we haven't become love?
Right.
And I'm finding more and more that when we begin to recognize where we are in life and recognize the things that we don't like, it will cause us to have a self-reflection to say, you know what, I don't like this about me. But then where does that come from? You know, from children, we're taught certain things, and then we've seen certain things, and we've gone through certain things, and it's caused us to have a negative outlook. I was friends with someone, and I felt like I loved the person, but even though like everything that came out of their mouth was negative and it was toxic, and they always didn't like somebody or didn't like something, and it was just, you know, always something. And I had to really think back to, you know, what is it in us that causes us to be that way? And perhaps it stems from something that happened to us along the way, something that happened to us from children, maybe things that we haven't dealt with.
Right. And in order for you to move forward, you got to let go. You know, you've got to let go of those things that you have been dealing with in your past, and understand that you can change. You don't have to stay that way. You know, you don't have to be mean and a nasty woman. You don't have to hate on everybody. You don't have to be that way. You can actually change. You can actually make a difference in your smile can make a difference in somebody else's life. You know, your action can make a difference in somebody's life. Everything you do, people are watching you, you know, and so there's no way you should be 30 years old and you're still acting like you're 10. you're still stuck in your little girl, your little girl body. You should have evolved into trying to be that person that you really, really are trying to strive and aspire to be, you know. So we've got to learn first thing how to forgive ourselves for things we've done in the past. We've got to learn how to forgive others for things they've done to us in the past, so that we can actually see growth in our life, see growth, be able to change, so we don't throw those rocks.
Right. The Bible speaks about when we were once children, that's how we behave. But once we become
Right.
older,
Right.
then we change. And
That's
we've
it.
got to understand that change has to begin within us. We
Within us.
can't look to our friends. We can't look to, anybody else to change us. Yes, we have mentors. We have people that we love. We have people that we seek after, and we value their opinions. We
Right.
value what they have to say
Right.
to us to help us become in life. Like, I have amazing sisters. You one of them that I value what you guys have to say to me about what I'm doing. Thank you, Mom Figueroa. Thank you for your love and support. But we value those things, and it's like we have to begin to really love ourselves. And in loving ourselves, like you said, Lady Shalanda, it will help us not to have the crab in the barrel mentality.
That's
It
right.
will help us not to pull everything down. Love you,
That's
Pastor
right.
Kawana. It will help us. A lot of times, what I'm realizing is sometimes we don't want to be helped. And so it's easier. Bless you, Apostle Amethyst Gaiman. Thank you for joining us. It's easy to deflect
Right.
when we don't want to see ourselves.
Right. Right.
We have to want to become, and that is what this discussion is all about: becoming. How are we going to be the change we want to see? So if you don't like that you're around people who don't show love, what is your responsibility?
Right.
To show the love.
That's it.
If you
That's
don't
it.
like somebody who's always gossiping and talking about people, then you have the opportunity, we have the opportunity to become better.
That's right.
How are we going to become better? We got to look in that mirror, and
That's
we got to
right.
self-reflect. We got to
That's
get
it.
in that mirror. I think I said it last week. When I was, going through something, I had gotten to the point where I had to look in the mirror for myself, a physical mirror, and I had to talk to myself. Ladies, it's okay to talk to yourself.
Right.
Sometimes that's the best kind of talk, right, sis? Am I
That's
lying?
it.
That's
That's
the
it.
best kind of talk. Talk to yourself,
That's
because while
right.
we trying to talk to our friends and family and loved ones, sometimes it's just better to get it all out. Talk to
That's
yourself,
it.
get in that mirror,
That's
and
it.
then start saying affirmations to validate who you are in the earth, who God
Right.
says you are.
Right. 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 And it's so important to reflect on your own insecurities. Reflect on what you know you have to really reflect on the things that you want to change, the things that you want to see change. Because if you stay stuck in that environment, you're going to become a toxic person. You're going to be that really toxic person, and you don't want to become a toxic person. Toxic people nobody want to be around. I remember when I was younger, and my mom, we were discussing this earlier. I remember being so mean. I was just so mean for no reason. Like, she was like, you was a little girl and you were just mean for no reason. You was mean waking up, you was mean going to bed, you was just absolutely mean. And as I got older and as I went to school, I still had that in me. It wasn't until I actually woke up one day and was like, I don't like the person I'm becoming. I don't like who I see. I don't like how I'm acting. I don't like what's going on in my life. I'm becoming toxic to everybody else that's around me. And so I had to wake up and realize that I had to change. And then when I started dating my husband, I had to change. You know, I became a pastor's wife. I couldn't stay that mean person. You know what I mean? I could not stay that person. I had to change. And you have to really look at yourself and say, what don't I like about myself that I can see changing? What don't I like about myself? You know, and not only that, let's just go work. Does is God pleased with my attitude? Is God pleased with the way that I treat people? Is God pleased with the way that I'm handling situations, that I'm always blowing up at people, or I'm always having an attitude? Is God pleased with the way that I am? And no, you know, the answer is no. You have to want to change. Otherwise, nobody's ever going to want to be around you. Otherwise, you're going to be the toxic person that you see everybody else be.
That's true. I think that, it's very true that in order for us to properly see where we're at, we've got to acknowledge those
That's
things
it.
about ourselves that
That's
we don't
it.
like.
That's
And
it.
we have to face those things. And we have to be receptive to the fact that, you know what? If someone's telling me that I'm toxic, that I have a bad attitude,
Mhm,
that,
mhm.
I'm behaving, and I'm behaving badly, I need to change that.
Yes.
Lady Nakia Mason says, what don't I like about myself that I can see changing? That's good. Yes, we have to be honest,
That's
and we
right.
don't want to have those hard conversations. If you have a group of friends that you're close to that you could bounce things off of, great. But you also got to be receptive to hearing those
Right.
hard
That's
answers.
it. That's
And if
right.
you have
Right.
real friends are going to say, no, that's wrong.
Right.
That's
Right.
toxic. Maybe you need to change that. I don't like that. And that goes into us, knowing who our friends are,
Right.
and
And
stop being around people just because they're our yes men.
that's right. That's right. And be receptive to be receptive when someone is genuinely, you know, someone that is genuinely a sister. You know, be receptive to them telling you, hey, listen, you know, this is, you got this going on with yourself. I think, you know, you kind of need a little, you know, you need to deal with that. Because a lot of times we don't want to admit, we're like delusional. I'm okay. You know,
Delusional.
we're delusional. I'm okay. I got it all together. No, sis, you don't got it all together. You know, you really got a couple of screws loose and you need to get it together. Come on. You know, let's be, you know, realistic. You got a
Right.
couple of screws loose. You got to get it back together, because you sometimes you need that nudge, and be able to be receptive to that information without you getting an attitude, without you thinking she's hating on you, without you thinking she's being jealous of you, because that's the
Yes.
first thing that, you know, as women they come up with. Oh, she's my hater, she's my hater. No, dude, no, boo, you your own hater. You're your own hater, and you're making your life worse by doing what you're doing.
Yes. And again, these are good nuggets, because I even said last week, we like to harp on the scripture that says he prepares the table for me in the
Right,
presence of my enemies, right?
right,
And I said last week, what are we going to do when we show up to that table with with when we show up to this prepared table that we feel like our quote unquote enemies are, so
right,
that we can
right.
show them, and
That's
then
right.
we are the only person at that table,
Right.
because
You
like
got
you
a
said,
mirror in
we're
front of
our
yourself.
own, right, we're our own enemies.
Your own enemy. Your own enemy. And it should never get to a place where you think that everybody's against you. No, that's a mental issue. If you think everybody's against you, you know, you need to seek some help for that. Because in life, you have to take responsibility and accountability
Responsibility,
for
yes.
your own actions. Your own actions. You have to play your part, and play your part well. You know, stop always using the excuse, well, she did that and she did this and she, but what part did you play? You know, what role did you play in the situation to make it the way it is? You know, own
Exactly.
up to your own, you know, things that you do. Own it up.
Right. Lady Fanta Harvey said we have to owning is the first part. It's the key.
That's
We've
it.
got to own, we got to take responsibility, like you said, for our own stuff. Evangelist Hand said it comes to a point when God will move you and change your whole location just so he can get your full attention.
Yes, he will. That is absolutely true. Because sometimes we get stuck and we can't change because of our environment. you
Right.
you can't change because of your environment. If you're in a home, an abusive home, and that's all you see, you got to change that environment so that you that toxic environment, so you don't be in an abusive environment. And I'm not just talking about a uh beating abuse, or anything like that. I'm talking about verbal abuse. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about any type of toxic situation. You've got to move out of that so that you can be able to grow, so that you can be able to heal, so that you can be able to love yourself again. Get to know who you are, because a lot of us don't know who we are. That's the reality of it. Have you ever sat down, and really said, well, who am I? What is my identity? I know who God says that I am, but do I really believe this? Get to
Right.
know yourself.
We have a question. Apostle Amethyst Gaiman says, because of my past dealings with females, I tend to not open up at first because I've been hurt so much with them turning on me with no explanation, stop talking to me, or act like I'm invisible in their presence. So what advice would you give to others who has dealt with or is dealing with it now? You go ahead, sis.
Well, that is a good question, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've only had two really best friends in my whole entire life. And I found out the hard way that people will switch up on you at the drop of the hat. How did I deal with the situation? I had to back away and see, was it really me? That's what I had to do. Was it really me? Was it the way I was acting? Was it the way I was talking? Did I offend them in some type of way? Had to come to one of my friends, and I had to sit down and talk to her and be like, well, listen, did I do something to you for you to react that way to me? And sometimes it's you, and then sometimes it really isn't. And when you find out that somebody is just going to keep abusing you that way, that's not sisterhood. You don't want to
Right.
be in any type of situation where somebody's always going to take from you and not going to be willing to pour into you. A sisterhood is about us being able to draw water from each other. Being able to pour into each other. That if you're feeling down, I can be able to help you. I can be able to pray with you. It's not just one way. It should be able to be given back to me, where now I'm in need, of prayer. I'm in need of that shoulder to lean on. That's the sisterhood. And if you can't deal with that sisterhood, if you can't operate in that, then that's just not for you. Just keep it moving. You can't be in a toxic place. It's not. We're now in a time where no one should be in a toxic place. No one. Toxicity should not be a part of your life.
Right. I just to piggyback off of that and to help Apostle Amethyst, um I have to, I had to self-reflect, and I had to really think about, like Lady Shalanda said, self-evaluate, right?
Yeah.
Because we can't, it's easy to point the finger at the person who you feel has wronged you,
Right.
but in every situation, there there could possibly be something that you did, whether you said something wrong, whether, the person took it wrong,
Right.
whatever. And what I had to understand was, like I said, I think I testified about it before. I had to come to the realization that while I was pointing fingers at the people, at the sisters that I felt did me wrong, and in all honesty, they did me wrong in a lot of instances. But I had to honestly reflect back and say, you know what? Lord, help me.
That's it.
Because we see things the way we see things. And, it goes back to what I said about how people, their upbringing, right? The things that they saw in life, the relationships and the toxic
Right.
things that they may have
Right.
seen growing up in their families or with other friends, that
Right.
maybe they thought that type of behavior was
Okay.
okay.
Right.
And so now that we're friends, here we are, with our friendship. And now that person has done this very same thing that they did to other people that I've seen. They have now done it to me. And I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe it. But listen,
Yeah.
we've got to be honest where we are, and we
Right.
have to take a step back from the situation because,
Right.
yes, it's hurtful. We get upset, we get angry, we don't want to be their friends, we want to cut them off. But
Right.
we still have to say, God, where did I mess up in this situation?
What
What
did I
show
play?
me
What
me?
role? Yeah.
What role did I play?
That's it.
Because the person could be dead wrong, but my response to the person probably was wrong too. Maybe I didn't handle it the way that I should have because I was in my emotions
Right.
instead of hearing
Right. Right.
or taking a step back. Verna Best says many aren't receptive because many times people aren't consistent. However, we can't place the responsibility on others for our personal growth. You're absolutely right.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. We have to take responsibility for our own actions. And just what you had just said, sometimes we have to play back in our mind, well, how did the conversation go? That when we had that spat, how did the conversation go? Replay it in your mind, because I said this week to someone who actually did something to me. I said, it's not what you say, it's sometimes how you say it, because we can say something and it could be very meaningful what they said, but it's how they came off at you in saying it. So we have to take time to really reflect, well, how did that conversation go? Did I handle that the right way? Did I say what I had to say the right way? And no, sometimes there are people that just gonna be sensitive, and they're just not going to, just because that's their makeup, they're just sensitive like that. But what role did I really play in the situation, so that I can go and I can apologize and say, well, listen, sis, I didn't mean to hurt you, or if I said something to offend you, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And you hit a key point. You said so that you can go back and apologize.
That's right. That's
Ladies,
right.
sisters, come on. You know that apologizing is one of the hardest things for some of us to do. For some
Mm-hmm.
of us to see our wrong in the situation and not want and give up, like my husband always says, sometimes you got to give up your right to be right.
Right.
And that means that although
You
you're
was
right,
right.
right,
Yes,
and
it's about
you know that you was right,
right.
I give it up because my friendship, our relationship means more than what you did to me. And then there are some instances where, you know what, we'll never be the same.
Right.
But you
Right.
know what? I forgive you. And
That's
I
it.
apologize for what I've done to play the part in what we have now become. We've got to learn how to apologize. So, Apostle Amethyst says, so should we as women accept them back as if nothing ever happened and they never gave a reason for the behavior. So if I did something wrong, I can fix it so it won't happen again.
But this is where, as women, we need to be grown-ups about such situations. We need to have a conversation and not be afraid to have a conversation. Say, listen, this that was something that I personally had to learn. I had to, because I was one of those people that I would tell you off, and Charmaine know that I would tell you off in a nice way. Um, but I had to actually, some things I would hold in, and I just would not say anything. Now I'm not going to hold my tongue. I'm going to say it to you in a certain manner where it's not offensive, but we need to have a conversation. Where did we go wrong? What happened? Why did this happen? My a friend, the second best friend that I had, she was one of those people where I would ask her to come to church, or I would ask her to do this, or anything that she asked me to do, I was always there. I was always there. I was always there. But then when it was my turn for me to ask her to be somewhere, she always had an excuse. So what I did was, one day I just had to have this conversation. I was like, listen, I'm always asking you to come somewhere, and you're always telling me you're busy or something happened. You asked me to be somewhere, I'm there on the front lines. What's going on? Are we friends or what? You have to learn how to be honest, and learn how to have that conversation, because that's called maturity. That's called
Right.
adulting. Learning how to be an adult. We can't stay kids. We're not in high school. We're not in elementary. We're adults. And so you have to learn how to have those conversations without it going left.
Exactly. Lady Vanessa O said, and that's when maturity steps in. Absolutely.
Right.
We have to be mature enough to have those conversations. I think
That's
Lady
it.
Kia said, conversations. We need to talk to one another.
That's
Yvonne
right.
Smith says, honesty and respect goes a long way.
Goes a
And
long way.
honestly, Apostle Gaiman, sometimes we just have to understand that everybody's not going to come back and apologize to
Right.
us.
Right.
And we have to be mature enough not to judge someone's apology because they didn't apologize the way we felt like the
Right.
apology should have came.
Right.
Some people, going back to upbringing and trauma and things that people have gone through, where Lady Shalanda said earlier, it's okay to seek counseling, to seek
That's right.
therapy, because some things you've gone through that you don't know how to break the cycle.
Right.
You really don't know how to be a friend. You really don't
Right.
know how to apologize. You really
Right.
don't know how to have a conversation with that sister who hurt you, that you felt like you can't get over it.
Right.
So there came a point in my life where I had to be honest and say, you know what? It hurt me. I'm hurt. Let me deal with myself.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
Because we got to deal with ourselves. I think Verna Best says self-reflection. We
Mm-hmm.
have to reflect and deal with ourselves. And
That's right.
it caused me to say, you know what? In my healing process, before I even picked back up Sanctity and Sisterhood, I had to heal from a lot of things.
Right.
A lot of us are moving in life, moving in ministry, moving in relationships, and we haven't healed. We're using the phrase as, oh, I'm just gonna get over it. Or we're like Apostle Amethyst said, her friend said, let's just move along from it. No, some things we
Have to
have to
deal with
deal
it.
with.
We have to deal with it.
And we can't be afraid to deal with it. And like I said, there had came a point where I was like, you know what? This person owes me an apology. If they don't apologize to me, I'm not never speaking to them again. If they text me, come on, ladies, let's be honest. We've said those things. I don't care if a building fall on them. We've
Oh.
said these things. Stop the madness. Like, we gotta be honest. If I see my sister, if I see this child in the store, she better not look at me.
Right.
Or if they need something, I'm not taking the money out of my pocket
Right.
to
Don't
give them
call me.
because they wronged me, and I
Right.
don't care. But I had to. Lady Fanta said, bleeding on others because we are wounded within. Right.
It
So
will
there came,
cause
and that
that.
time. Right.
I'm
And
sorry.
that.
It will cause that, Lady Fanta. It will cause you to bleed on other friendships because of things that happened to you from previous friendships. You'll have that wall up. You'll have that guard up, and you won't move forward to know what a real true friend is because you're still stuck in the past friendship.
Yeah, and that's like, I forget who said it on here, but someone said, it's hard to deal with people who always have an issue, right? And like you said, it causes you to put that wall up.
That's
It
right.
causes you to say, I remember this. This happened in my last friendship. Nope,
Mm-hmm.
nope. And
Yep.
so then we start putting everybody in that same
In that same category.
category.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Verna said, I agree. Many are not equipped to deal with conflict resolution. They take offense to an honest conversation and your truth concerning the offense. Prayer is key. You're absolutely right. We have to be always being what I like to say, we have mindful of each other,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because your truth, you coming to me and saying, I don't like this, what you said hurt me, I could feel like, well, Shalanda, what you talking about, girl? I didn't say nothing wrong. It is
Right.
what, that's how I am, you know how I am. But that doesn't mean it's right.
Right. Right.
that
It's
that
right.
offended that offended her, that hurt her, how I said it, it didn't go over well with her. And so we got to broaden our thought processes, that just because, I think last week again I said, you know putting away the talk of, that's just me, this is how I talk, my mouth has no filter, death to those words.
But
Your
how can
mouth
you
should have a
change?
filter.
How can you change? How can you expect to change? How can you become change if you still stay that individual? You cannot stay that individual and expect good things to happen. To expect, doors to open, to expect God to really pour out the blessings for you when you are mistreating, mishandling, your delivery is wrong, everything, your whole action, your whole demeanor, and this is me and this is how I am and I'm not going to change. Then there's no reason for anybody to be around you, because you're a toxic person. And you have to realize, until you change, nothing else in your life is going to go right. You'll have
Right.
problems in your relationship. You'll have problems with your children. You'll have problems with your family. You'll have problems with your parents. Everybody you'll have a problem with, because you refuse to deal with you. We've got to learn how to deal with us. It starts with us.
Exactly. And so, ladies, in this quarantine, I hope we're using it wisely.
That's right.
Self reflection, dealing with ourselves. Cherise Simpson says, and it appears that some will not apologize because they genuinely do not believe they are wrong because of deficiencies within their own upbringing.
True.
So, what they did to you could be a default coping mechanism rather than something they see as being wrong.
And that's
You
absolutely
are
true.
absolutely correct. And
That's
yeah,
absolutely
and
true.
that's why I always like to say, we have to give people grace. We have to extend the grace to people that we hope we never need, right?
Right.
Because a lot of times we're throwing our rocks at people because
Mm-hmm.
of what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing without
Mm-hmm.
even realizing that sometimes they just don't know. Sometimes, they what they think is right but is wrong. Nobody actually took the time to show them, hey
Right.
sis,
Right.
this is why it's wrong.
Right.
This is why you should change X, Y, and Z. Ray Janice says, we as women can sometimes be complacent with the way we are and fearful of change because of the human in us. But as a woman, we have isolated and withdrawn from relationships or friendships. How do you learn to trust again and not feel that everyone is not the same or have hidden agendas or motives?
Well, that's a big one. I'm gonna tell you that's a big one, even for me, because I, the last close friendship I had did not end well, and I just felt like everybody else was going to be just like her, you know. But then I had to come to realize that I have to be the friend. I have to be that person that shows someone how to be a real friend. And that's how the change stop. That's how the change starts. You have to be that person. If you want to see something change, you be able to be that change. That's the saying. Be the change that you want to see. You know, be that change. So I want somebody to see what a real friend is. Let me be that real friend. Let me show how a real friend is supposed to be. Not being abused, because there are people that will take your friendship and try to abuse your friendship. So you have to know your limits. Now, we're not saying go past our limits, but learn how to be that friend or be that sister that you want someone else to be to you.
Exactly. And we have to be as friends, as sisters, ladies, while we're becoming and we're, being, having relationships, and we have great friends and best friends and all of those things. We've got to be able to be honest with the people we call sisters and friends.
That's
If
it.
Shalanda know that what I'm doing is wrong, if Shalanda know that what I'm saying is wrong, I expect her as
Oh
my
yeah.
sister to pull my coattail. Like I said, we all need those people in our lives.
Right.
Those
Right.
people that will say, no, that is wrong. This is not what you do to other women. We've got to stop doing things to people and thinking that it's all right. We've got to stop
Mhm.
seeing our sisters doing wrong to other sisters and other women and turning our heads and allowing it
To keep going on. Right.
just because they're our friend. That's not a
Right.
real sisterhood. That's not real
Right.
friendship. We've got to be honest. We've got to be able to be the sisters that we want to be. Sharice says, I think you have to give people a chance because someone could say the same thing about us. But also, do not ignore your intuition. Just like we shouldn't all the time rush into a relationship, don't rush in a friendship. Give it time to grow and mature.
And I believe that, because guess what? There are people that throw this BFF right off the bat. Oh, this is my BFF. Oh, this is my BFF. Oh, my BFF. Take time in the friendship. You're not just gonna be best friends tomorrow. Take time to get to know each other, get to know each other's faults, get to know each other. And you said something that I really wanted to touch before that the person had said that you have to really, oh God, please don't let me lose it. You have to really just know people. You got to know people. You have to um learn their differences. Learn that everybody doesn't have a motive of trying to hurt you as a sister. you know Learn that there are some true people out there that will be a sister. And you were talking about that sister, that one that's going to be able to tell you did something wrong. Listen, if you did something wrong, and it goes back to say, tell them that they did something wrong. Tell them that they shouldn't have said that. Tell them, listen, I don't think you should have treated her that way, or why are you shying away from her like that? Be able to say that, but say it in a loving manner. Don't come off on the individual like you trying to be their mother. Because a friend, your friend, be that friend. Not the mother, be the friend. And say, listen, it really shouldn't have went down like that. You guys have been friends for a long time. Y'all should really try to talk it out, hash it out, because you just went left field. You yelling and screaming, and it just didn't have to happen that way. Learn how to have that conversation with somebody. And if they get offended by what you say, listen, sis, I'm sorry that you felt offended by what I said, but it was the truth. And
Exactly.
it was the truth. And the hardest pill for people to swallow is the truth. They don't want to hear the truth.
I have Evangelist Huger. She says, I have a friend that believes if she has an issue with someone else, that I, as her friend, shouldn't deal with them because she doesn't. I totally disagree.
you
Listen,
your problem is not my problem. And we've got to stop making other people's problems our problems. I'm not going to be mad with that individual because you mad with that individual. I'm not going to stop talking to that individual because you stop talking to that individual. If I want to be with that individual as a friend, then I should be able to be that, because we're individual people. We not sidekicks like that. You know what I mean? We are individual grown-ups. And when you're a grown-up, you should not act like you 2 years old. 2-year-old kids, they, or in preschool, they'll be like, don't be her friend because
Right.
she wouldn't give me that toy. Don't be her friend. No, we got to stop acting like we're children. We're grown women. Start acting like grown women. Because you're upset with that individual, I don't have to be upset because they're not treating me, or they didn't talk to me the way that I don't have the same issue with that person that you have. It's two different relationships.
Exactly. And a lot of times, we got to be mature enough in our relationships with people and our sisterhood
Yep,
as women.
that's right.
We are the most opinionated. We could be hateful, we can be
Ooh, yeah.
jealous, we can be envious, we tear each other down. We have been known to do so many things to each other, right? And it's just not okay. And so while we want our sister girl to not be friends with someone else, that's immaturity and that's
Right,
foolishness.
right.
I had become friends, just a quick thing. I had become friends with someone who
Mm-hmm,
wasn't who did not like someone that I was very close to.
mm-hmm,
Very, very close to. And she said, and whenever she would talk about this person, or not talk about in like a mean way, but just share with me her reasons for why she did not care for the person who I deemed close and near and dear to me,
mm-hmm.
I never once wavered. I never once, said anything. I never once, talk talk bad about either one of them to each other. In fact, I never even told the person that she was discussing with how this person felt.
Right,
Why? Because listen, we've got to be mature enough to be friends with people and not
right.
expect them to
To
be
be
how
friends with.
we
That's
are,
right.
or
That's
to be friends with who we're friends with.
mm-hmm.
Because everybody's not going to like each other. We're not all going to like each other. That's just the reality of it. We're not
Right,
all going to be sisters. We're
right.
not all going to be best friends, bosom buddies. But we should all
Be cordial.
respect one another.
That's
We
right.
all should be able to see someone and be cordial. And
That,
so not too long ago, she said to me, she said, I marvel at the fact that, she said, there have been times, she said, what caused me to really look at you as a sister and not just a friend, because I've said things, or I've shared with you my feelings about this person, and you never once down talk that person to me. And I said, you know what? Because there comes a point in your life where that portion of you, in order to be a friend, gotta die.
that's right. That's right.
And that
That's right.
becomes with maturity, and
That's right.
that stems from self-reflection, reflecting on who we are as a person, and then becoming.
And you know what?
We don't like, go ahead.
It should show her how to be a friend, because of your maturity and how you handle the situation between them two, should show her, listen, well, I can handle the situation. I could be a better friend. I can learn from you and draw from you, because we should be learning from each other, you know?
Right. Shanna said immature. Let me go back to, she said immature mindsets are not ready for any relationship.
And that's
That is
absolutely
an
true.
amazing point,
That's
Shanna,
right.
because when we are immature, it blocks us from seeing the bigger picture.
Right.
And what is the bigger picture? If the enemy could cause us to be against each other, then we don't even have the power to become united.
That's right.
We are better together,
That's
and that
right.
is the purpose of this. We've got to unify. We are, and this is not just for church, this is in life, this is for all women and in
Right.
general. But in the church setting, there are more women than men. We know this, right?
Right.
And so healed women can bring about
Healed
healed
women.
ministries.
That's right.
And why do I say that? Because if we're in church and we're exhibiting these toxic attributes, then we're pushing our sisters out the door.
Right.
Lady Yvonne Jones said the sisterhood is so essential, and I had to learn how to deal with each individual
Oh,
accordingly and in love.
that's
And
right.
in seeking those to put in the sister category, I had to accept two of my best friends with their flaws, because when I looked in the mirror, I didn't see a perfect individual, but I did check their hearts and found them to be true. And we just have to work through the small stuff.
That's right.
How
Absolutely.
awesome would it be, like Lady Jones said, if we could look in the mirror and see that we're not perfect and look
Right.
past our sister's flaws to
That's
say,
right.
you know what? Let me pull you up. I
That's
got
it.
you, sis. We
That's
about
it.
to be better together, because
Right.
those things that you don't like about me and those things that I don't like about you, we're gonna do this. We're
That's
gonna
right.
become better together, and we're gonna move
Together.
away from those things that we don't like you said, together. Lady Jones said, if some of those odds are cutting too deep, then you know what bucket to put them in. It's okay to be cordial and keep it moving. I'm just saying.
And that's the truth. If you know that you can't deal with the individual and the individual just doesn't want to change, hey, I love you with the love of God. I don't hate you, but we're in two different places. I'm not going to place you in the place that I'm in right now because I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to grow. And it seemed like you just stuck there and you don't want to move. And you can't deal with people that don't want to move. We have to be going in the same direction. And like you said, and we pulling each other in the same direction. But you can't kick against the grain. You can't take the screw and screw it the opposite way. It has to be going in the same direction in order to
Yes.
fit. So you with sisterhood, we all should be having the same aim, the same goal, trying to get to the same place.
Right. And even if we're not yet, then the people that we are in relationship with and friendship with, we should be pulling them up
That's right.
and helping them to get to be on the same page, right?
That's
Because
right.
if we're sisters and we're bonding a sisterhood, and we're becoming better, and we want to, see each other live our best lives, then we've got to be receptive to the fact that although our friends are not where we are yet, but we're going to help them get there. And yeah, their vision, our visions are two different visions, but
Right.
we're all moving to the
In
same
the same
place. So
same destination.
therefore, we can accept each other with
Right.
flaws and all,
Right.
realize that we're not perfect, we're not better than each other, and that we're becoming better, right?
Right. Right.
Shanna said the person enterprise experience is limited because folks are discriminating. That kind of behavior is a no-no for any sector. Be loving and understanding. If not, go on about your business. We've got to show the love
The
that we
love.
want shown to
That's
us.
right.
We've got
That's
to be
right.
loved. Cherise says, and we're wrapping up, guys. Cherise says, I think also, as Lady Jones said, when it's a appointed person in your life who you know is supposed to be a part of your life, I feel like God will give you a grace to love them through flaws, and then you too, and you become better for it. Yes, extending the grace.
That's
We've
right.
got to extend grace to people. Yes, women are naturally community builders. Sisterhood is essential. We're all essential. And if
That's
we're going
right.
to become sisters, we've got to do it together. Last words from Lady Shalanda.
Well, I'm excited and I'm thankful on the broadcast. I think that is very essential that we learn to grow, that we learn to be the change, that we learn to first focus on our own flaws before we focus on other people's flaws, and then learn to love ourselves so that we can extend that love to somebody else. It is so important as sisters to build each other up and not tear each other down, because we're supposed to be kingdom builders, and in order for us to do that, we need each other. We need to help each other. We don't be afraid to answer somebody's question. Don't be afraid to help that sister. Show the love. Be that change. and show them that they can change. If they don't meet that criteria right now, you be that example, so that one day they can see how you are, and where you are, and say, you know what, I admire you, and I want to be that change. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much, Charmaine, for having me tonight. I really enjoyed myself.
Yes, we thank you, Lady Davis. Thank you for being a friend. We thank you for coming in and joining with us on tonight, for helping us become better. Thank you for your words, for your nuggets, for your love. And yes, we are becoming the change we want to see. Please like this, share it out, guys. It is our desire that we all become better and that we all live our best lives. We need to become better
That's
together.
it.
Only way it's going to work is if we're unified. So I thank you on tonight, co-pastor Davis. Thank you so much. This was an amazing discussion. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to having you again for another discussion. So before we close out, thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. It is my prayer that you gained something on tonight to take with you, to ponder on, to look in the mirror, to self-reflect on becoming the change that you want to see. If you know that there are things that your sister has done or other women have done that you don't like, and you feel like, you know what, I could be better, I want to do better, be that change. Sometimes it takes you to make the difference to be the change. I am excited about where we are going in the kingdom, outside of the kingdom, in our personal relationships, in our jobs, in our walks of life. Let's be the change that we want to see. We can do it. We can do it together. There can be unity. I don't care what statistics say. We as women can unify and we can be better together if we want to be, right? Later, we're putting away the people who don't want to be that. We're praying for them. But for those of you that want to be, join me Monday nights. We're becoming better together. Next week, I have another amazing topic for you. We're going to deal with healing, because first we picked our sisters up. We got them up. We told them that we got them. We're not going to leave them behind. Tonight we've dropped our rocks. We've learned how to become better, than those things that we don't like. And next week we're going to talk about healing. Somebody type in the comments, healing. It's time for us to truly heal. And I will have none other than Lady Pastor Kawana McGinnis. She is a licensed therapist. She's going to be on with us next Monday at 9 p.m. We're going to be going further. We're going to talk about healing. Bring your questions, ladies. Let's get ready to talk and deal with those places that we need to heal. We got to dig deep. So let's begin to dig deep and be honest about our healing. God bless you. Share this out. Share the video out. Thank you again for joining me for Sanctity of Sisterhood. I am my sister's keeper. What about you? Have a good night.